Did rotate that right? Yes, I did. Good. Thank God. I don't want to make another king cube. All right. Rotate that around over here. Actually, put that over here for the moment. That'll work. All right. Hearing protection. Ow. God dang it. Ugh. Oi. Wow. Oh. Hey, Mike. Old Pat, how you doing? Oh, man. I really should be wearing my dust mask. I'm sanding. Holy crap. Hold on. I got to run the sander one more time. There we go. Nope, shit. All right, sanding complete. Holy crap. So I completely forgot I have an order for a cube set that has to go out tomorrow. My daughter was supposed to sand these down for me this weekend, and she didn't do it. I didn't make her do it. I kind of forgot about it. I got sidetracked with other things like cleaning. And yeah, so now I have to get these sanded on the laser, engraved, stained. So tomorrow morning I can throw them in a box and send them out. So I'm like speed running, making a cube set, which is going to be pretty awesome. Thankfully, I did clean up my shop a little bit. So now I can stain it on my workbench and not on my table saw like I normally would. And while I'm in the middle of that, there was something else I was going to do. I know I was going to do some sharpening while I'm waiting on the laser to go. God, I hope this is going to take me all night. I'm going to be up till 10 o'clock tonight doing this. Damn it. Oh well. But yeah, I was going to sharpen some of my chisels. and I don't know, just mess around. What are they? Coop. Okay, so it's a yard game. Basically, have 5 of these set up on either side of a field of play. It's 5 meters by 8 meters, and you have dowels that are about yay big, about the same size as the king cube, almost. And from the other side of the field, you throw and you try to knock these over. If you knock one over, the team on that side of the field takes it, chucks it over the middle line where the king sits, and then you have to knock down that field cube. If you don't, shoot, how does this work? If it doesn't get knocked down, then you have the ability to move up in the field of play to make your life easier attacking the cubes. And it goes back and forth. Each side has their own set of cubes they're attacking. Once you get all 5 knocked down, and then knocked down a second time, once it gets knocked down out of the field, then it gets checked out. Once all 5 of yours are gone, then you can knock down the king cube, and whoever knocks down the king first wins, unless they haven't knocked down these. If they knock it down, they lose. It's a fun game. I call it Viking cornhole. People call it Viking chess. There is a bit of strategy to it. Really fun game. Someone introduced it to me last year, and I've been selling these like crazy. I've gotten probably 30 orders for these this year. It's nuts. Every time I turn around, I've got another order coming in. Hopefully it'll slow down a little bit. I mean, I like the money, but man, it takes up some time. Mostly because I engrave these with Viking symbols on the sides representing fire, earth, water, wind, battle, and then the king cube, the runes on this represent the 4 Norse gods, the 4 Viking gods. So anyway, it's a little special spin put on it. Customers seem to like it. Sells really well. But the laser engraving part does take a lot of time. I should probably sell a version. No, I do. I'll show you in a second. Let me get the next set going. Hold on a minute. Back out, back out. So I wish I had a bigger laser. Then I could do a whole set at once and probably knock it out really quick. I can do 3 cubes at a time. Let me make sure I rotated those. Okay, I did. I've done it before where I forgot to rotate and I started the next side. And then double engraved. Whoop, shoot. So let's see if I can get a shot here. I've got 3 of them going in there at once. That's all I can fit inside mine. There's not enough height normally under the laser, so I got to take out my bed so I have room to put those 4x4 blocks down there. And that's just what I can fit in there. Now, if I did them regulation size, I could get 5 at once. But that's not how I roll because that's more work. So I just do them 4x4s. Hey, Keith, what's up? What's left to sand? No, nothing's left to sand. I did a quick sand on all those pieces. I might sand some more. So the problem with the 4x4s from Lowe's and Home Depot is you get one side of it that's real rough cut. I tried to find one that wasn't, but it was slim pickings. So I don't really like that. I don't want someone to get a splinter. So I might have to sand this some more, but I'll wait till I get it engraved before I worry about that. I'm so thankful I got that belt sander. Yeah, I saw you're going to do that thing on Friday, Mike. I wish I could join, but I'm going to be at the first home football game for the high school. I'm there for the marching band. I'm not there for football. but they're doing their first run through of their performance for the season, and I'm the lead prop guy. I had a planer. Yeah, I do have a planer. Part of me cleaning up my shop was so I could actually get to it. There she is, right in the back there. Tour of the clean shop. Well, I don't think I've done anything else, Mike, since you were last on here. Of course, I still got some random junk in the corner, but it's a lot better than what it was. I moved the table saw, and I still got to work on that corner there, and some stuff back there. But it's getting there. I can move around the shop. That makes me happy. A lot better than what it was. Yeah, what I really want is a drum sander. And I almost had one. So there was a gentleman, old guy, that I used to do a lot of work for on my CNC. And, we became pretty good friends. Did a lot of work for him. I hung out at his shop a lot, just kind of bullshitting. I had dinner with him a couple times. His wife was real nice. Anyway, he passed away. And he had a drum sander that I think he was going to give it to me, honestly. But I offered to buy it off him. I needed some work. I think it needed a motor replaced. And anyway, after he died, I talked to his wife, and I said, "Hey, I gave it some time. I was respectful, but I said, "Hey, I'd like to purchase some of his tools." And she ended up selling everything before I could get to it. As a matter of fact, he had, I don't know how much lumber. I mean, he knew people that had their own lumber mills and whatnot, and he was just one of those people that was friendly with everybody. And he'd get these really good deals on people milling him felled trees and whatnot. But he had a shit ton of lumber. That's how I originally met him, was buying some lumber off of him. Anyway, I wanted his lumber. Someone bought it all. I can't even imagine how much he had, because he had a 3-car garage shop. Excuse me, that was full of lumber. I mean, lumber everywhere. And then all along the outside, I mean, he had it stacked outside along one side. He had all these racks built along the back, a whole shed where he dries stuff. Along one side, there were more racks. It probably took this guy a full, 16-foot trailer to get everything. And anyway, I think she sold it for $2,000. I was like, oh my God. Oh, I would have loved to have all that lumber. Yeah, Keith, I'm trying to get it to you too. I just haven't had a chance to take pictures of it yet. I need to take some pictures, stage it, take some pictures so I can put it up on Etsy, and then I'm sending it to you as soon as that happens. I'm sending this out tomorrow. I'd like to send that out tomorrow too. Just make one trip to the post office, but we'll see. Anyhow, I wanted to. Oh, there's my knife sharpening set. Keeping it soaked. I figure while I'm waiting on these things to go on the laser, I can get a couple things sharpened. So I've got a bunch of chisels, some big ones that I want to get sharpened. I think they'd be really nice to use. I want to get more into doing handwork. Now that I have this sharpening set, I can actually do it. Let's see how this goes here. I have to lower this down a bit. Little strappy boot out of the way. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, I'm happy with the pumpkin. I got to come up with some new designs for the face. Oh, I should probably put a light on, huh? Not that that really helps much. So, Mike, I think you're still there. Do I start with the back first? flat in the back. Yeah, the great friends are. Ew, I should probably change that water out. That's getting slimy. That's all right. All right, yeah, 400. And this right here, is this just, it doesn't have a grit on it, but is this one, the dark charcoal, is that like a really low grit, like, I don't know, 100 grit or so, to get a rough start on something? Hopefully I'm doing this right. Let's see here. Keep that flat. Yeah, I need that rough stone. That's for dressing your stones to keep them flat. Oh, I thought that's what the little white one was for. I thought that's what that one was for. I don't know. The directions were, they might as well have been in Chinese. It's probably badly translated English. I'd like to get all that nastiness off of there. All that rust and crap. Never going to be perfect, but probably grab some paper towel too while I'm at it. The white one is a touch-up stone. Piece of glass. What would the glass do? I don't remember you using glass. I think I've seen someone else do that, like with 6,000 grit sandpaper or something like that. I'm gonna swap the laser. Keep this rolling. Speed running cool. Hey, soldier, how you doing? I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Thanks for coming by. Hey, soldier, how you doing? I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Coming by. I need to turn my sound off on my computer so I don't get the continual feedback. Do that real quick. Last time use that to mill the rust. Oh, okay. I got you. Like 60 grit. Yeah. I mean, the best I have is an orbital sander or the belt sander, which is, I think I've got 120 or 150 on there. I can't remember. Man, let me get some paper towel. It's gonna get nasty quick. All right, get some paper towel now. So it doesn't feel bad, but I can't just go by feel alone. Hold on, I gotta change this water too. This is nasty. One moment. Hey, Caden, empty the dishwasher. fresh water. It's not so slimy. We're back on the platen of the belt sander. Okay, so we talk about running along here, Mike. I guess you can't see that. Along the curved edge, or just to get to clean the steel. I got you. All right. Hold on. Let me put the hearing protection on. I gotta grease this thing too. I gotta tear this thing down. It's make a nasty sound when I turn it on. Not the flat part. Okay, so the round bit. I got you. Oh, the flat part. Okay, I got you. Better. Notice the edge of it. So I'm sharpening an old chisel. I don't know how old it is, but I inherited. I'll show you the box. The box is nasty. I inherited a box of old chisels and hand tools from a part of our family, older gentleman who had this awesome shop, a garage with a lift and everything. And one of the things that he had, I've got to find my other ones. I don't know what I've done with them. Shoot, I don't even know where that. Oh, right here. He had a collection of wooden hand planes, hand hewn hand planes, and I love these things. I think they're so cool. Um, just the idea that someone would make this, and now we go out and buy these cheap ones from China made of who knows what, but that someone would take the time to make this by hand and then use this to hand make other things. I absolutely love the idea of it. So when he passed away, my father asked me if I wanted anything from his shop because they were gonna sell his house and all that. So I said, yeah, I would like his planes, some of his hand tools. So my dad put together that box and sent those down to me. And there's some other stuff in there that I don't know what the tools are, um, but I'm going to try to restore them all and you know try to do Pepe some justice and do some handwork. So problem with this chip, it's really rounded. I haven't touched these since I got them, so getting that angle is going to be really interesting. I do have the little angle doodad that came with it, but I doubt it's wrong for a chisel, more for a knife. I did sharpen one of my kitchen knives with that, which was lots of fun. Now the directions say to do, oh shoot, I gotta swap out the tubes. One moment. So now I have to do 2 cubes at once, just so I don't get lost in which part of the set I've done, since I have to do 2 sets of each set of runes. One for each side of the field. That's just my process. It takes a little bit longer, but I make fewer mistakes, especially if I'm running the laser doing this while I've had a beer or several, which I have not today because it is a random Wednesday and I have to go to work tomorrow. Yeah, I did see that it's 2 angles. Um, and so I'm just focusing on obviously the one that comes to the tip or the point here. So that's the angle I'm trying to mimic here. And I remember when you did your video, you just kind of said, well, you can kind of feel it when you get it flat at that right angle, or correct angle rather. This is going to take a lot. There's something, I don't know what the right word is, cathartic about doing stuff like this. Like I know, Mike, you mentioned something about that the other day on your live, but about, I don't know, like mindless, repetitive work. It really helps calm down the ADHD that the psychiatrist says I don't have. But everybody I know says I probably do. I forget who I was talking about. It might have been my therapist. But where I used to draw. I was going to go to art school, actually. Instead, I joined the Navy. But I could sit there and draw for literally hours. I mean, the day would whisk away. I wouldn't even realize what time it is. You know, I might be doing a still life or, you know, a cartoon of some sort. It didn't matter what it was. And whether I was drawing or painting or illustrating, I mean, I was in my own world. I don't want to do that. So this right here is something that, as I have time, I'm going to really enjoy doing. Push down, let the chisel rock into place. Keep it front to back on the legs. Gotcha. So both directions, Mike, you're saying. Let's swap the laser. Clean some of that junk up. And I might only get through the 400 grit tonight. We'll see. Thanks, Mike. I'm glad I have someone here that can give me a couple pointers. Watching someone do it is one thing. Having feedback is another. And while I'm here, I got to check on this crazy 85%. Okay. So I shot a 10-minute video earlier that my daughter is going to show her math professor at her college. I tried to send her a text message to explain something, but it's a question I've been trying to figure out for the better part of a decade, if not longer. An idea I came up with of another equation for a circle. And I've talked to my own calculus professor when I did a short stint in college. I've talked to people with master's degrees in math, and I haven't found anybody that can help me figure out this equation I know has to exist. Because if I can describe it on paper with a picture, there's an equation for it. That's the way the universe works. Math describes everything in the universe. So I made a video on it. And maybe somewhere out there in YouTube land, you'll be able to help me come up with this equation that I want. It's a kind of a crazy idea, but crazy ideas are just kind of what come to me sometimes. It's funny, when I was in high school, my best friend and I, we'd come up with all kinds of crazy crap that we'd talk about and bullshit about and whatever. So one day I said, you know what? Why is it possible that I can even take a single step? That's funny, Keith. Anyway, I said, well, it should not be possible that I can move from here to here. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, because in order to move through a line segment, I have to pass through individual points. And points are infinitesimally small. So that means there are an infinite number of points between any two endpoints. In essence, you can define infinity, which is a crazy, crazy idea. One that I found out later is a thing in math. There are different sizes to infinity. So anyway, he said, "No, you're an idiot." I said, "I don't think so." So fast forward to he's in college getting his engineering degree, and I'm in the Navy. When I came home for a long weekend from the training place I was at, and I went to hang out with him, and he said, "Hey, you know what, Liam? Remember that argument we had back in high school where I said you're an idiot for saying it should be impossible to pass through 2 points?" I said, "Yep, I remember." He said, "Yeah, that's a thing. It's called Zeno's paradox." I was like, "Huh." And I looked it up, and yeah, there was this philosopher, Zeno, who came up with this paradox. I imagine this is how I'm supposed to do this, Mike. I notice I'm kind of cutting a groove into this block here. More paper towel. And the laser needs to be swapped again. might not be too bad. I might actually get more than one thing done tonight and get this order out on time, so as he's not mad at me. That would be cool. Tried having my own website and getting rid of Etsy, but they charge fees because they bring traffic. It's hard to get traffic to your own website. Xeno actually had well, yeah, Xeno had 4 paradoxes, but they all kind of revolved around the same. Well, at least I think. I haven't quite studied it all, but there are at least 2 or 3 that are basically the same principle, that infinity exists between finite points, and therefore you should never be able to move through them because you would have to move through infinite points. Well, I think one is like the turtle and the hare kind of thing, where the hare runs and the turtle can make half the distance, and the hare runs and half the distance, and they're continuously getting closer and closer, but will never touch because of infinity. Anyway, so yeah, so I came up with Zeno's paradox all on my own. Didn't know it was a thing. And now I've come up with this crazy question about a circle. I'm looking for a new equation for a circle. The original impulse for it was because I wanted to define the properties of a circle without using pi, but precisely. I know there are ways to approximate like 22/7 the approximate pi. You can get there from parts of a circle and whatnot. And anyway, but instead of defining a circle or drawing a circle from a center point, a radius, and rotating that radius around 360 degrees, where the end point of that radius defines the bounds of the circle. Instead, the idea is, well, what if I took any other point in the circle, or the center point, but any other point, and I have a minimum radius and a maximum radius that are opposing each other, and there would have to be min and max. And then the radius would grow as it rotates around the circle. So I believe it involves an integral, and I'm really no good with Calc 3. Or several integrals anyway. I can describe it, I can draw it, I can animate it. But what I can't do is come up with an equation for it. And I think if you took the derivative of this equation, you would end up with your normal equation for a circle, because this is probably going to involve integrals. Man, I am tearing this thing up. But it's starting to get a more flat surface. Kind of digging a groove here. I have no idea when these were last sharpened or how they were sharpened. Again, it was an old man's tools, an old woodworker and mechanic. He's a jack of all trades. Really, really awesome guy. All right, 4th side. Flipped. So nothing actually moves, but instantly. Yeah. You're right, Keith. A circle is round. And I think you can describe a circle to draw a circle, or have an equation that would draw a circle in a different way. I've asked on r/math on Reddit. I've asked lots of people, and the Reddit people are like, what the hell are you talking about? Equations for circles already exist. What are you doing? And I was like, well, it's a new idea. Well, at least to me, it's a new idea. I've done some research, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. But we'll see. Her calculus professor has a doctorate in some sort of advanced math that has to do with geometry, so I'm thinking he might be able to help, or he knows someone in his department that can. That'd be really cool if I can discover an answer to this. And then I have other questions, all involving circles. I'm just fascinated by circles. I don't know why, but I have this fascination with circles. And I've got other problems I want to solve later. I've tried using AutoCAD to help me with the other ones because they're all just geometry. But it hasn't. Well, it didn't tell me what I thought it would tell me. And so I've got to find a math way to do it. So this is definitely getting wider, this nastiness stripe here. So I think that's a good sign. It's really hard to tell if I'm getting flat or not. I think I am. There's some little like wavy divots. Probably can't see. Maybe if I get some light on it. Of course, this is not going to want to focus at all, is it? It wants to focus on the background. Yeah, sorry about that. Man, I just get so obsessed with. Yeah, it's not going to focus. I get obsessed with these crazy thoughts that run through my head. Parametric plot of a circle from a point at the edge. Oh, dude, I would love to try shrooms. Yeah, so what that equation there, Mike, I've looked at something like that. One of the reasons I stayed away from that, although someone had told me on Reddit, you might want to take a look at that. I think it was on a polar coordinate. Sorry about more of the math, but anyway, like modifying the equation of an ellipse, I think might be the key to it. I don't know. Because basically what I'm doing is doing a different version of an ellipse. But either way, we'll see. What's a substitute teacher to do? Yeah. All right. Back to my original three. One, two. And is my video up? It's checking it. 10 minutes left. Cool. So it's making sure I don't have any weird stuff in there. That's cool. So at least it's thinking about uploading. And the last video I did, this is only like a 9-minute video, 10-minute video. The last video I did was, I think I got it down to 22 minutes, which was pretty awesome. For me, that's short. Oh, do I want to use this side of it, Mike? The rough side or the back side to flatten? It's the back side, right? That makes sense anyway. So yeah, it took all night last night, and then even some this morning to upload that freaking video. I don't know what was up with my Wi-Fi or my computer or what. It was something weird going on. I was not happy though. Stepping away to take the. All right. See you when you come back, soldier. So I should be using this side of it? Diamond patterns. Okay. All right. I guess that makes sense. I mean, I did read the directions. They're not great directions. I was never a real Boy Scout. Didn't get past Tenderfoot. I never learned any of these cool skills. All right. Let's see here. while I was on my path of discovery for this circle problem, I did actually create an equation. I was very proud of myself, but I figured out how to calculate arc length in a different way than what a textbook teaches you. I mean, it's similar, but it's different. I got to find my notes on this whole project. I have all kinds of cool stuff written down. But that was a fun one. There's a different way to calculate arc length. Now, my way is way more complicated. So the actual way to calculate arc length is super simple. But I did think it was cool that I came up with that all on my own. I was back early in my career, my current career path. There was a guy that I worked with, and we would just sit there and talk about the most random crap in the world. What I later learned was that guy was high all the time. Which, hey, I'm not going to yuck his yum. But being a federal employee, the two things do not go well together. He eventually quit. And he got into some really crazy stuff that I was like, I don't know about that, man. He got me to watch some really crazy stuff on YouTube. I went down some rabbit holes. But I learned about binaural beats. That's cool stuff. Tell you what, if you're ever having trouble sleep, put on some binaural beats. I mean, it feels sharp. It feels like there's an edge on there. I think I might move up a grit. See what happens. Oh, don't get me started on... Okay, so my job... Man, this is going to be a geek fest tonight. That's what this is. Didn't know this was coming during when I wrote the description for tonight. So my job, I'm in radiological controls. I work with radiation and contamination and all that. I actually teach basic radiological fundamentals, some of the math and whatnot now. But man, some rabbit holes I've gone down. I asked my chemistry professor a crazy question, because I come up with crazy questions, which is, what would happen to the electrons in an atom at absolute zero? So an atom was at absolute zero, what would happen to the electrons? Would they get sucked up by the nucleus? Would they fall off? What would happen to the nucleus? Because for something to be at absolute zero, there has to be no relative motion. Oh, quantum tunneling. Oh, that's one that's mind-blowing. I can't wait to study that more. I read that mentioned somewhere in an article I was reading, and then I was like, holy crap. Yeah, we are living in the Matrix. Like, there's no way this shit is real. All right, what's my next grit? Is that 1,000? It has to be on the same stone. Yeah, 1,000 grit. All right, let's wet that. And that backside off a little bit. So anyway, she was like, you know what? I have no idea, but I know some people who might know. And so she asked some of her colleagues, and one of them was like, hey, if you ever figure it out, that's Nobel Prize worthy. But then later I did some more research, and I found this professor from, I think he's MIT. He has a YouTube channel, and watched some of his videos, and asked a question on the comments on one of the videos. And he actually got back to me. It was a short answer. I mean, he didn't have time for my bullshit. But what is up with that? There's almost like a burr on the stone. But he basically pointed me at some research and some papers to read. And it turns out that no, the electrons would not fall off. But it involves a lot of math and a lot of quantum physics that I don't fully understand. But I'm slowly trying to teach myself so I can understand. There's a website, and now I don't know where. I did a restart on my computer, and I've lost all the tabs I had open because the tab. I don't know if you guys caught both sides of that conversation. Check the one. Holy crap! I'm missing all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Oh, decent chisels. Really? From Aldi? Huh. Yeah, and you know what's cool, Mike? Have you ever, or any of you guys, have you ever heard of? There's a TED Talk. I think it's called the Castle or the Classroom in the Cloud. It is one of the coolest experiments I have ever heard about. And if you haven't, go watch that TED Talk. It's an Indian guy from India. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Even if I could, I probably couldn't pronounce it right. Um, but holy crap, it is the coolest thing I have ever heard about and would revolutionize, well, the education system. Um, Basically, teaching yourself what you want to learn. And it's freaking awesome. I wish I could have had the time to homeschool my children and got them involved with something like that. I tried to get them in a STEM school. It only lasted a couple of years because I don't know, they didn't like it. They were too indoctrinated in regular school, I guess, initially. It was a little too freeing, but that's an awesome idea. Now I'm spending the second half of my life just learning all the cool shit that I've always been curious about. The Feynman technique. Ooh, talk about Richard Feynman. I've got his lecture. I think I still have the CDs. I have the 6 CD or 7 CD set or whatever. Really, really great lecture series. That dude was crazy smart. But the cool thing about Feynman is, I probably should do the flat of this, huh? The cool thing about Feynman was that not only was he like the smartest person in the room always, and he knew it, but he could talk to those people in the room at their level, which I think that's what made him absolutely brilliant. Besides, the fact that he was a super genius, but the fact that he could actually have a conversation with all the dumb fucks in the world and get them to at least have a basic understanding of what he was talking about, um, just blew my mind. That's what I got out of those lectures, honestly. How cool is that guy? And then I love the documentary I think it's on Netflix, about the Challenger disaster, um, and the part he played in that. Oh, so what was I talking about? Oh, atoms. Yeah. So I teach basic radiation theory, um, and I don't propose to be an expert. I mean, I failed the NRRPT. I don't know if I'm ever going to take that test again because at this point in my career, it doesn't really help me. Maybe just for the satisfaction of actually doing it. But I love to research stuff on my own, and I have all kinds of crazy, crazy questions. I need to find I should probably go back to school just so I have access to physics professors with PhDs that I can pose questions to. I'm doing that vicariously through my daughter now. She's getting her engineering degree, so she has access to really smart people. And I can get some of my questions asked through her. hey man, it's all good. Like, I'm never going to yuck anybody's yum. I've known people from all walks of life that just do whatever. And like, it may not be like your passion is going to be something completely different than my passion, completely different than Mike's passion, or anybody else's passion. And as long as you have a passion, that's what matters. And it doesn't matter what your day job is. It doesn't matter, what. Don't compare. I don't ever try to compare myself to anybody else, and I don't try to compare anybody else to me. Especially with the students I have, some of them have like I'm an uneducated dummy. I started to go to college after the Navy, try to get my associate's degree in engineering, so then I could go on and get an engineering degree because it would better my career. And I was interested in it, but ultimately I can't pass calculus 3. Differential equations are not my friend. Now, granted, I was also doing it online, and I had to teach it to myself because the professors that I had both times I took it were absolutely useless. They wouldn't answer any questions. In fact, the first time I took it, whenever I asked a question, the professor would respond on the discussion post, "Look it up." We didn't have a book. So that was pretty awesome. The second time I took it was with a professor that I had taken before for some other calculus and other math classes, and I really liked her, but I was not in a good place at the time, so it didn't work out well for me. And I had forgotten so much from Calc 1 that Calc 3 became impossible. So, anyway, yeah, just have a passion in something. Doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes I think I have too many passion projects, too many things I really dive deep into. And again, that's the ADHD that I don't have kicking in. Hey, that's cool too, man. And congratulations on the 3 degrees. Something I can't accomplish. Although I've thought about going and getting a health physics degree because that is my current position. And maybe one day I'll do the NRRPT. I'll get that certification, that acknowledgement. Mostly because there's a couple people that took the same exam I took and the cycle I took it. One of them is one of the biggest cunts I've ever met in the world. Can't fucking stand her. And yeah, she passed it. Now, it was honestly her second time doing it. But she did it. I didn't. And I felt really bad because of the 12 of us that took it, 10 people passed, 2 didn't. The only thing I told myself was, well, one of the people that didn't pass is way smarter than I am. She's one of those people that has a master's in math that I posed my circle question to. And stumped her with that. I don't know. I'm a terrible student, though. I don't know how to study. That's my biggest problem. No friggin' idea how to study. I'm glad my oldest daughter doesn't take after me. She's a lot better at that school thing than I am. But I'm happy with having all of the information in the world at my fingertips at all times. Just kind of teaching myself stuff and learning as I go. I think I fucking rounded that. How did I do that? I need more water on there. Hold on. I gotta read this. I can't read from there. Old eyes. Okay. Yeah, it's just like, so there was from the rough side a very shallow but flat edge. It wasn't perfectly straight, but now it seems like it's rounding. So flip it over and just, is that what you're saying? Let's swap this out too. I'm gonna have to replace this tabletop soon enough. Oh man, I had paper towel in here. Son of a biscuit. And it's Bounty, the good stuff. All right. I am gonna have to take a break here in just a minute because my wife wanted me to make her some ramen. I know if I don't do that soon, she's gonna be like, "Where the hell are you?" I mean, it's definitely, there's a sharp edge there. Well, it's hard to tell with paper towel if I can cut anything, but paper. I know I'm only at the 1,000 grit. Actually, what I did before was I took a scrap piece of wood and then just tested it. But anyway, uh, give me just a few minutes. I'm going to turn the mic off. I'm going to go make my wife this ramen. back. Just waiting on that ramen to boil. What'd I miss? What'd I miss? That's pretty funny. Yeah, just... Oh, shit, I'm doing it the wrong way. Got a rock on the legs. It's feeling sharp. Wicked sharp. Where are we at here? 3,000 grit. All right. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to do the flat first. Yeah, I find it fascinating when someone actually humors me with listening to the random babbling I have going on. Crazy shit that's in my head sometimes. I've met some cool people that way, like that one dude I used to work with. Not sure what he's doing now. He showed up on TikTok, and I guess he's got a farm somewhere. I know he wanted to become a pot farmer. I don't know if he actually ended up doing that or not. All right, gotta check on that ramen. I'll be right back. Also gotta flip these. Oh, swap out the cubes for the twos. And get those stained, and then I'll be done with that. All right, get this going. Then my alarm should go off. Markov. Oh, my video's up. Oh, cool. Yeah, I figured I wouldn't take too many passes at this point. It's just that rough pass, especially with something that old and nasty. Oh shit! Almost did the wrong piece. I guess it didn't really matter. Just not be my normal process, and then I get screwed up somewhere. Okay, be right back. And, cool. And just in time to swap the cube. All right. Making it all happen. Oh, so I just thought of another story. Here's story time with Liam. But another time where I kind of discovered something that, like, I went on a bit of self-discovery and then had to do some research to fully learn something. So I teach, one of the things I teach is the production and decay of cobalt-60. That's the isotope we care about in my job. So what we learn is that the output, the decay of cobalt-60, gives us 2 gammas, a beta, and that's it. And, nickel-60, obviously. But when I looked at it, I said, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense. I just had always hit the I believe button and just went with it. Let me find some paper to test this on. I had always hit the I believe button. And then one day I said, wait a minute, how do I have an output no, that just ripped. It's ripping, not so much cutting here. Although that's a razor edge right there. All right, I'm gonna try that on a piece of wood. Anyway, how do I have an output of mass and energy, but the mass doesn't change? Something's not right here. That can't happen. Physics says it can't happen. The laws of nature say that can't happen. So I looked into it and I said, wait a minute. One of the things they teach, or we teach, is that protons and neutrons have the same mass of 1 atomic mass unit. I said, that can't be right. So I said, they must be different. I'm almost about to do something stupid there. They must be different masses. And so I had to look it up, and sure enough, a neutron is more massive than a proton. Oh, I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to really enjoy that right there. Oh, so much better. 1 down, many to go. So neutrons and protons, different masses. So cool. Neutron's more massive. A neutron turns into a proton. It has to, because of the way the numbers work out. And the difference in mass is my beta and a couple gammas. Cool. So then I looked up the mass, the actual mass of neutron, proton, beta, the mass equivalent of the energy of the gammas, and there's missing mass. Back needs flatter, that's all. Okay, yeah. So I said they're still missing mass. Have we broken the laws of physics here in our nuclear industry? And then I had to research it, and it turns out, no, there's just an antineutrino that they don't ever teach us about in my job. They just kind of ignore that part. But when I teach it, I teach my students about the antineutrino because, well, I can't leave it alone. I like to tell the whole story and not just what the book that I teach from wants them to believe. So it was a fun little thing of just looking at something and go, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense. Let me see if I can figure this out. And then looked it up and learned I was at least on the right track. That's what I wanted to do. Real quick is clean that out a little bit before I stain that. And I got to cut my line. And I got to set up the saw as soon as this tube set gets done. Anyway, yeah. Sterile neutrinos piss you off. I've never heard of a sterile neutrino. Something I'm going to have to look into. I started to get into all these actual fundamental particles and quarks and antiquarks, or I guess up, down, strange, charm, and whatever the other two are. I can't remember now. Neutrinos and antineutrinos, and just all this shit. Gluons. What I think is really cool. So I found this this infographic that was my desktop background for a while, at least at work, and all these different fundamental particles or quantum particles. And what I think is really cool is the gamma, or the photon, is the force carrier for electric charge, but itself has no charge. It has no mass. How does it carry the force of something it doesn't have itself? That is freaking crazy. Wild. Anyway, that got me down a whole rabbit hole. Stuff I need to learn about. If I can ever find this website again, it's basically like you type in something you want to know and it gives you a list of every resource it can think of that you can become an expert in that particular topic. Yeah, cool. That might be all for tonight. I'm just going to stain these things and then go to bed. But thank y'all for hanging out, just having a chat with me while I quickly speed run through getting this order done, and something I should have done this weekend and I didn't. But like I tell my therapist, I live off of stress and crazy deadlines. That's interesting. Only interact through gravity. Huh. Wait, other neutrinos have charge? I thought they'd be neutral. What I think is really cool. I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna talk about this for another 5 minutes. So the whole thing with beta decay, whether it's beta positive or beta negative, beta minus decay. In the case of cobalt 60, it's beta minus decay. A neutron turns into a proton. As one of my students put it, it's the atomic sex change. I laughed my ass off at that. But in my research, I go, okay, well, what are neutrons and protons made of? Okay, up and down quarks. So that means that a down quark turns into an up quark. Why does that happen? That's the next step in my understanding of all this is why the hell does an up quark turn into a, or down quark turn into an up quark, and vice versa can happen. Um, in beta plus decay. But yeah, it's just like how does that how does it just turn into the other thing? Now it probably has something to do with the nuclear force, maybe the gluons. I don't know, something else interacting there that randomly it just happens. But it's absolutely crazy, and that blew my mind when I learned about that. And yeah, I geek out about this stuff, and my students just kind of look at me like, "Why are you telling us this?" And I get super excited, and I pace in front of my classroom, back and forth, in front of my whiteboard, and I draw things on the board and help them come to the same conclusion. or at least a similar conclusion, that I fill them in with the rest. I haven't heard about the phase shifting stuff, but yeah, I've got so much to learn and so little time to do it in. Fair enough. Quantum phasing is not it. Yeah, man. Hey, New Beginnings, how's it going? We're in here talking quantum theory, some radiation fundamentals, some nuclear stuff, a little bit of everything tonight, while I make a cube set and sharpen some chisels. It's quite the night. If you have ADHD, this is the place for you. But isn't that kind of what quantum tunneling is? I mean, I know it's not winking in and out of existence, but that one blew my mind. When I read about quantum tunneling, I forget what I was reading, but it led me to that. I was like, holy shit, electrons aren't real. What the hell is going on? Like, electrons are there, but it's not. Man, I know what that feels like, trying to clean the shop. In my camera view right now is the rest. It's kind of what I have left to clean up. I spent this long weekend cleaning. Except if it was movement, it would break the law of physics, from what I understand. Because an electron can exist here, and then the next time you look for that electron, it could be on the other side of the universe. That's, again, I have zero understanding about this, but from the little that I read, that was kind of the gist of it. Yeah, it's wild, wild stuff. I have no regrets in this world, honestly. I've lived my entire life with no regret. Actually, I have one regret, and that was not going to see Nirvana when they did their Unplugged set in New York City. I had the opportunity to. I didn't realize that's what it was going to be, but I had an opportunity to do that, and I didn't take the chance. And then, oh, lo and behold, a few months later, Kurt Cobain shoots himself, and my favorite band was no more, and I never got to see them live. So that's my one regret in life. I try not to have any regrets. Where's my gloves? Oh, there they are. Cool. I guess I'll just keep chit chatting and go ahead and stain some tubes. So yeah. Anyway, try not to have any regrets. If you did the math to the CMB and calculate expansion on allegedly FTL at the edge of, I have heard that. I have heard that. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, back to my one pseudo regret is, well, not pushing myself to learn when I was younger. Learn in the way that I like to learn now. My life would have been completely different. It's not that I want a different life. It's simply that where I could be now would be so much further along than where I am, and I'd have a better understanding of a lot. So I need gunstock and golden oak. Okay. Gunstock and golden oak. Oh, shit. Where am I here? There we go. Yeah, so that's my regret. My only other regret, I guess, is not learning things when I could have. So golden oak, gunstock. There we go. If you guys can ever get your hands on some, hey, maybe you know someone in the medical field. Something I learned from my wife, who works in a medical office. she's in the medical field, is tongue depressors. They go bad. They have an expiration date. They make really, really good stir sticks. Or just, the random little bits and scraps that you would normally throw away, or most of us don't throw away. We just keep them forever because I think as a woodworker, you kind of have to be a hoarder as well. We'll start with the lighter of the stains and then work toward darker. Just tongue depressor, give it a little stirry stir. Somebody had mentioned somewhere, I don't know, it was a comment on someone's video or something I read somewhere, maybe it was on Facebook, that when they store their stain, they actually store it upside down. Helps it keep them from drying out. I had never considered that. It's something I'm going to start doing now. Do any of you guys do that? That makes sense. Keep the air out of the one place where the air can get in. Hey, Pilato. Hey, man. How's it going? Canned air. What do you mean by canned air? Sure what you mean there. All right, so grab my piece of paper towel, a set of cubes. It's going to be a late night tonight. It's going to be a 10 o'clocker before I go to bed. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Even if my wife is not. Do not waste your money on brushes for stain. Just use paper towel. It's so much cheaper and easier. I mean, unless you're doing something very, very large, don't waste your money. Like paper towel works just as good. Fold it up a few times and just brush it on. And I let it dry for just a moment and then wipe it off. What sucks about these is that one rough edge, and then I get I kind of dab it just to get down in those cracks and crevices. I guess that's one place where a brush would be advantageous here. At least a bristle brush, not so much a foam brush. But get that down in there, get the top, which I hate doing the end grain because it just sucks up so much. Don't need to, but I always do that, and I leave the bottom empty so they know which side is the top, which side is the bottom, because these are not letters that anybody probably understands. They're all Viking runes. For a moment, I considered changing my channel name to King Cube because I've made so many of these freaking things. And I can't complain too much. So one of these sets, when all said and done, locally I can charge $80 to $100 for. On Etsy is, I think, $110. So that covers my Etsy charges plus shipping to just about anywhere. And I've sold, I want to say I've sold 30 of these this season. And it is a super simple build. So anybody looking for something for maybe next summer, you just get on ChatGPT, describe it, have it fill in the SEO for you, a description, go to town. I'll tell you what, ChatGPT definitely helped me. Definitely, I saw an increase in sales after I changed my description based off of what ChatGPT told me. I mean, I wasn't too far off, but it also gives you good pricing information. I mean, I followed what it calculated for pricing, and people pay it. I thought it was way too much, but that's a hard lesson I've had to learn over the years, is not to undersell yourself. Your time is valuable. Your craft is valuable. It's something that people are buying it from you because they can't do it themselves. So it's all worth something. And you need to price what you make, if that's what you're doing, based off of the value of your time and your expertise, your skills that other people don't have. Or, in my case, a special tool, like a laser that not everybody has. Or I can do special engravings and things and add customization and whatnot. I actually did a cube set where they wanted the person's name on there, on the bottom of each cube. I said, sure, no problem. I can do that. And I did. Check the chat here in a minute. I know I've said it before, Mike, but thank you very much for helping me get to these 50 subscribers so I can do lives. This is absolutely the most fun I've had in a long time, is just basically talking to myself with every now and then looking and seeing a response that someone has. I've definitely enjoyed it more than making videos or anything else I've done. Hello, daughter. My favorite daughter who still lives at home. Is it that time? Oh, okay. It's better be pissed off than pissed on. All right, now take a couple pieces of paper towel and wipe these bad boys down and get rid of all that excess stain. So hopefully by the morning, it'll be dry enough that I can ship this out. I'm going to hit it with some quick dry shellac, spray shellac in the morning before I box it up. Are you having fun?
I am having fun.
Okay. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Entertaining the masses. Okay. Now time to switch to the other stain. And son of a bitch, I didn't finish my king. Excuse me, Ella. The king cube.
Oh, big one.
Yeah, the big one. I have to keep that stain out there so I can stain the base of that.
They like my jazz hands.
Very good jazz hands. Jazz hands.
Oh, what is that? It looks like a. Okay, you're not funny.
What? Excuse me. Watch out.
It kind of looks like something I can eat.
You are not eating stain.
I was thinking, like, whatever.
Okay.
You're not eating stain.
Could you do me a favor and move all that crap off my saw and place it gently onto the top of the laser? Yeah, 6-7. I got it. And turn the laser off. Turn that key to the left. Like it. Yeah, could you just move all that? Because I gotta do the king on that. I gotta do that one cut here in a minute and then stain it. And I'm gonna check the chat real quick because I haven't looked at my screen in a while and I know it's advanced. Someone said something. What is what for? That's another game. Oh, Candy Air. I got you. Let's get over Candy Air to clean keyboards. Okay. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Sorry, I'm over there just kind of doing this thing and not looking at the chat and see who's here. Later, Mike. Sorry, I didn't catch you before you had to go. Hey, just in case you guys haven't subscribed to each other's channels, please do that. Oh, and speaking of that, Keith, you got that video up yet? Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan, about the hurting your brain with the math. Man, I can get on some tangents and just go and go and go. What colors? So Keith, the colors I'm using for this, Ella, please. Bye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, later. The colors I'm using for this that the customer wanted are golden oak and gunstock. Yeah, golden oak and gunstock is what they wanted. I love it when they choose Yakasugi because then I can just get to torch it. And I don't have to worry about stain at all. And it's super quick. I was not so lucky with this order. But really can't complain because it's still an order. It's still money. It still gets my name out there. And hopefully I will do more, even more sales next year of these and some other yard games. There's a psychiatrist that got in touch with me through my Etsy listing. And we're working on a game that he has created based off of another game called Mulkey, which is similar to Cube. Instead of squarish blocks like this, it uses really thick dowel, like 2.5-inch thick dowels, which were a pain in the butt to find and kind of expensive. But anyway, they're numbered blocks. And the concept is pretty cool. So you take batons like in Cube and throw them at those numbered blocks. You initially set them up like you would the balls on a pool table. So kind of in a triangle shape, all butted up against each other. And then when you throw the batons, any of them that knock down that are not touching another one, you get that many points, whatever the numbers is on it. I think you're trying to get to 50 points. If two are touching, they negate each other. So you get no points, and you have to get exactly 50 points. So when they get knocked over, you stand them back up away from where they were. And so they eventually move to the outside edge of the play field. And once they do reach the edge of the play field, they go out. So there's a bit of strategy to it. If you need an exact number and someone else knocks it out of the play field, then you're kind of screwed. Anyway, it looks like it's be a pretty fun game. His is a version, it's kind of a melding of that and this. And he wants to use it for his patients. And there's runes, special runes I created to mean different things that he wanted. And got to engrave the those dowel pieces, which is always fun on my rotary because I'm not a pro when it comes to the rotary. And it did kind of mess up, and I'm trying to troubleshoot that to make it look better. I'll get there. Once I get it all dialed in and figured out, I'll probably do a video on it. And I'll definitely be hopefully making more sets for him if he wants to turn that into something he sells to his clients, his patients, whatever. Make more of those sets. And yeah, just be another revenue stream, another game. Yard games are cheap and easy to make, and it can sell for some pretty decent money. So something to consider. Again, if that's what you're doing woodworking for, or making or creating or whatever, is trying to make some extra cash, look into yard games, especially for next summer. Any spring shows, craft shows, and things you might do. Of course, they're higher ticket items. Maybe those aren't the best places for that, but at least you get your name out there. Maybe have someone play a game. No, I took a set to work, a set of Cube, and got some of my coworkers to purchase a set or two. Cool, that's done. Oh, I'm going to show you guys a real fun part. Maybe one of you can help me. If you know anything about a compound miter saw, specifically cobalt. Because mine is being a pain in the ass. Let me get this all wiped down, dried off best as possible. I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't gotten anything on my shirt. I made spaghetti bolognese tonight for dinner. Got none of that on here. Haven't gotten any stain on it. That is a first. I'm a messy dude. Okay, close that one up. Let's go remove these gloves. Hold on just a second. Let me move some stuff around. Gonna set something up real quick. My spacing block on there. I'm plugged in. Cool. One moment, please. The color that I was just using is gunstock. So that reddish hue there is gunstock there, Dan. All right, so the problem I'm having with my saw. There's my king. There's my king. And I need my. Where's my pencil? Oh, there it is right there. All right, so first things first. I should know this measurement by heart now, and I don't. It should be 70 centimeters to the bottom. It's roughly 73. So 73 from the top. Okay. About there. Cool. So the problem I'm having with my miter saw, right now I've got, oh no, I have it at the half degree mark. So it is off. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting's not good in here. But I have to set it at half a degree off to get it to actually be square. So it's off, right? And I tried adjusting that little red doodad there. That, like, I can't get it to move right. So I don't know, maybe I need to drill that out a little bit to give it some more movement, or if there's another adjustment I can make on this saw, so that way I can square this up. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to cut a relief line around here, and what was happening at first is I had that set to 0, and I'd get all the way around, and it'd be off by, I mean, like 1/8 of an inch. So I had on one face like this, another face like this, the channels. That's no good. No bueno. You see, even with that, I was off just a hair. You can see that. Nobody's gonna notice that, but me. I'll be the one that notices that. All right, so I gotta finish staining this, and then this set will be not done. Shit, I gotta cut the freaking batons. Damn it. Set this on at 90. Make sure the 90 D10 is where you're at. 90, tighten down the D10 plate. Oh, so woodworking work. Hey, that's a new name. Welcome. So are you talking about this plate here? Because this one, I can't get these freaking screws out. They are so tight. I mean, I haven't tried my impact on it yet, but I did attempt that. Can, um, can you go get that freaking blanket out of here? And there's sawdust everywhere, dude. I care. Hi, hungry. I'm dad. No, I'm dad. I don't know, Caden. Yeah, I just name dropped you. That's your mother's. Go make yourself a sandwich. Yeah, so I can't get. I couldn't get that plate off. Yeah. It isn't 90 on both sides of the blade, then it's the fence. I haven't checked the fence. Honestly, I only checked one side of the fence. I'll have to check that too. I've got a laser, or I've got a digital angle finder. It's a cheap one. It might be a Harbor Freight, but it seems to work. I mean, that adjustment can be made. I mean, there's screws in that plate there just for doing that, and there's room on either side of that plate to allow a little wiggle room. But I don't know. I'll play with it maybe this weekend. What was I doing? Staining again. Okay. So I think the lower portion is going to be the darker, and then the upper the lighter. Just because staining this part up here is a real pain in the ass, and if that darker drips down for whatever reason, I'm usually pretty lucky about that. But yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So normally I would do the lighter stain on the bottom, just because it helps the runes stand out a little bit more. But the darker of the two stains isn't so dark that it's you can't see the runes. If I'm doing like a dark walnut or something like that, then yeah, I definitely make the top the walnut, because you'll never see those runes. Whenever I get someone that wants walnut, I send them a message and say, "Are you sure that's what you want?" I should probably update a picture that has the walnut with the runes on it, just so they can see how difficult it is to see them. But hey, the customer is always right? At least that's the way I was brought up when I worked retail. I will let them have whatever they want. As long as they're paying for it, I'm willing to do it. Whatever design they want. Fill in those little channels there. Let that soak into that pseudo end grain. Wipe it away. Soak it up. I probably should. See, I got a drip. Doesn't often happen, but I got a drip. So wipe that real quick, and then the other stain should cover that. When I get to that part. That wiped up real quick. And soak up all that excess stain that's in there. Hit this with shellac in the morning just to seal it real quick, and that stuff will be dry by the time I'm going to box it up in the afternoon and get it on its way. Cool. Now do the lower portion. Go right. All right, see you, Pilato. Thank you for stopping by. If you're still here, hopefully I didn't miss you. I think most miters, Dan, do allow that adjustment. I mean, at least everything that's not a super cheap shit miter, I guess. But even the cheapest Harbor Freight tool, I think, will do that. Maybe some older ones wouldn't. The last one I had was DeWalt. I loved it, except it wasn't a sliding miter saw. Tell you what, that sliding, oh man, it makes such a difference. I was so glad I upgraded to that. That was my Christmas gift to myself last year. My wife went, "Oh, I didn't get you anything for Christmas." And I went, "Oh, okay, well, I know what I want." I went and got it. And it's a 12-inch blade, which I also love. I can do some pretty thick material on that. Some pretty long material as well. Like I basically ripped down plywood with that thing a couple times. Yeah, not a full sheet, but damn near close. All right, get rid of that. Close that up. That away. And wipe her down. Look from the top. All the way down. Excess stain off of there. Should be good to go. Cool. Now let's see if I actually have I have a set of batons ready, or I've got to cut those and sand them real quick. Hold on a second. Got them in a drawer underneath an extra Diablo blade that one of these days I'm going to cut myself on. Nope, I've only got 4, so good thing I bought another dowel. I can cut another 6. I need 6 of these dowels. One moment. I got to run out to the car. And the gate guard this morning asked me why I had a huge dowel in my car. I was like, it's for a yard game. This is almost the most expensive part of this whole project, is this dowel. I can't find a good, cheap way or source for these things. All right, time to put the hearing protection back on. I guess I'll move the camera again. Hey, see ya, woodworking warrior. Enjoy your dinner. Daughter's into witchcraft, like, yeah. Okay, so baton I've got marked. So I actually marked with pencil on the fence because I've made so many of these damn things. A bit of a bow in that. I almost caught myself good there. Ah, shit, I gotta make the freaking steaks too. God dang it. I knew last time I made some, I should have made extras. Might as well cut those now too and do a buttload of sanding here. Time to sand. Back to the sander I go. And it's not something I should be doing with stuff I just stained. Don't want to move all that. Screw it. All right. I will cut my string tomorrow. Worried about that at the moment. For the steaks. That's it. I did my speed run of a coupe set tonight. What, hour and a half, 2 hours? Something like that. Not too bad. And my mic's still on too. So, 9 o'clock. Not too bad. I thought I'd be up till 10 doing this set, but I'm an old man. I gotta go to bed. Thank you guys for hanging out. I see a lot of new names in here tonight. Really appreciate you guys coming out. I try to do a live every Wednesday and Saturday. Those are usually the days where I have time, where I'm not doing something with the marching band or whatever. So thank you all for hanging out. And hey, catch me next week. This Saturday, yeah, I think I'll be doing a live on Saturday. I'm going to try to schedule it. But if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you haven't liked, please do. Or don't. Hell, give me a downvote. It's all good. But I had some fun conversation tonight. For those of you that were here, we got into some weird stuff. Math stuff. Lots of math stuff. Hey, sometimes that happens. And I'll just ramble and ramble and ramble. I'll talk about just about anything. So thank you all. And have a good night.